want to make a little vid about what's going on today. I'm going to kind of give it some background about what's going on in Iran. And I'm a Black American, be a foundational Black American. And now you have people going online, and there's online stuff saying, well, Black people shouldn't enlist and people shouldn't go to Iran. They're talking about Black people that are already in the army who volunteered. It's an all volunteer army. This is not 1968, during Vietnam where there was a draft. So you're trying to give people advice to not go to where they are ordered to go. I mean, that's the military. That's what you say. It's cool when it's peacetime, but now when there's war, you know, I refer back to I joined the military in '84. I did a few years in the reserve and National Guard. I went active, and then during the Gulf War, I was in Germany, and there was a lot of brothers, and these were only brothers that did this, that said that they're not going to the Gulf War. And it didn't turn out too good for them. You had NCOs, non-commissioned officers, sergeants saying, "I'm not going to go." And it was good when you're over in Germany, you driving your BMW. You got a lot of German women, and all of a sudden the war goes on, and you don't want to go, and you're supposed to be a leader. This is the same thing that's happening today, and people are talking like this is a draft. Now I can understand kind of you saying black people shouldn't go into the military. I don't see how. We shouldn't fight for a country that we've been fighting for since the Civil War, that we invested a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, our souls into. If this is our country, just as much as anybody else, then I feel we should fight for it. I'll tell you a quick story. I'll make this quick. It was a 91, a 90, whatever the case might be. There was a young brother. He was from Philly. He was a Black Power brother. You go into his room, he got the Malcolm X, you know, Black Panthers, but squared away soldier. Did his job, grade A soldier. So he goes, his mother passed away. He goes on emergency leave. He goes back, and he's at a Minister Farrakhan type rally. Minister Farrakhan told him that black people shouldn't be in the military. When he gets back to Germany, he's got an attitude. He doesn't want to listen. And the older brothers tell him, look, man, you do the black brother stuff when you get out of the military. You're here now. So there was his sergeant, his NCO, told him to do one little thing. He said no. Long and short, they convicted him of disobeying a direct order from a non-commissioned officer, sent him to a place called Mannheim, which is a military prison in Germany. They did 6, 8 months. They dishonorably discharged him from the military. I think I talked about this. From what I've been told, then and I think now, a bad conduct discharge from the military is almost as worse as a felony because people who hire patriotic, you know, a lot of people hired, served in the military, whatever the case might be, have family members. But anyway, this is what happened. Mr. Louis Farrakhan, respectfully, because he is a really great black leader, Nation of Islam, take a lot of cats coming out of prison, turn their life around, drugs, fornication, addiction, crime. But he didn't realize that you shouldn't be informing a 19-year-old impressionable young black cat about being anti-military when he's in the military. I can see if you want to give him some guidance before he goes in, if he's thinking about going there, or pick up the struggle when he gets out. But he's actively in. That wasn't the best thing to do, in my opinion. It rings true because of what they did to him. And they was gunning for him because of his, his strong stance and his attitude had changed. I'm gonna tell you the truth. They thought I had an attitude the whole time I was over there. But I did my job. I was a squared away soldier, and I told them when I, as a black soldier, have an attitude, I'm when a white soldier has the same attitude that I have, he's a stud. He's a great soldier. Me, I'm an in with an attitude. So what's the difference? There's a lot of white boys that got attitudes too. And they laid off me, and I did my 3 years over there and got out. I went back in a couple times, National Guard, Reserve, and I went back in on active duty in 2006. Not that it matters, but it's a way to have an attitude, but you still have to respect rank. You still have to, do what you're told. And this is why I think black people trying to give soldiers that's in, talking about leave the army. I know that's just a bunch of YouTube stuff. They're not going to do that. You know, people say they're indoctrinated and they're selling out. Why are they selling out if they're serving their country? I don't get that. How can you sell out something that you're a part of? And black people been against serving since the Civil War, Spanish American War, World War One, Two, Korea, Vietnam, all the way up until today. I don't think that's selling out. I think that might be defending your black Americanism, which is part of being American. But that's my little shtick on it. I probably left a lot of stuff out, but I spoke long enough. But if you've never been in the military, you don't know anything. And one thing about the military, cats that served in the 70s, sorry, even 70s, 80s, and 90s obtained middle class status by serving in the military. And then their kids, like my kids' age, was able to obtain upper middle class and even wealthy, class status, whatever you want to call it, from them serving in the military. So just like anything, you you try to get as much as you put into it. And that's your pension, and your medical, and your home loan, college, and that college could extend to your kids. So it's not a one way street. It's not the military just takes off. It's some messed up things you might have to go through in the time of war, but that's what they call an all voluntary military. So that's my little shtick out.